Resolution song. May I ask where we are stuck or trapped? The question is also fair. It would have been nice to have said that it would be added to the absence of it. Then an illusion arises as it has been experienced many times before. There is neither fear nor confusion in the experience. Along with the intellect, there is a vision of feeling without any plot, and everyone is left to be, because the pain that he experiences is bliss. Because the pain that he experiences is bliss about the birth of what has happened. There is no firm evidence yet, and even it looks false. Now suppose that all the evidence is gathered together and start saying the same is true. So maybe the person saying something else against each, like the man who test of time, and it's invisible, can also be false. And in the event of everything happening for some reason, there should be a reason that it's wrong without any reason. And in the event of everything happening for some reason, there should be a reason that it's wrong without any reason. The whole universe is visible. The whole universe is visible, and we stare at the loser that we didn't create it or have the problem of erasing it. That we didn't create it. We haven't created it. Now we have the power of erasing it. Events that happen accidentally. We have some adventures, so the most subtle is almost invisible. Wind, water, fire, swell, all go melting one by one. And in the event of rhythm, everything is started getting rhythm, then the only one that has an explosive position. Some of the reasons our knowledge and exaggeration of knowledge and the ego being in that exaggeration, it's all a person's event. And in the event of rhythm, everything started getting rhythm, then the only one that is an explosive position. Some of the reasons every knowledge and exaggeration of knowledge and the ego being in that exaggeration, each all a person's event, which sometimes looks important but doesn't. Because when a family is formed and when it falls in love, then everything happens as it happens. The same must be true. Everything where it's no longer and where it's now with the longevity of its momentum. Everything where it's no longer and where it's now with the longevity of its momentum. If epic happens in any one event, if epic happens in any one moment, then there will be another epic in the next past times. All this is due to the continuous spread of the universe, whose end is also connected to the same sequence of creation. Many people go to religion together or gather in a speech. Suddenly there should be an accident and kill yourself. Suddenly there should be an accident and kill yourself. Almost become a war situation. Almost become a war situation. Rancid order, born of a fury of anger and hatred. Obeisance is transformed into the consolations of condolences. Obeisance is transformed into the consolations of condolences by creating nothing more than just the future of events which is difficult at the moment to be spoiled and remains unleasoned and remains silent within a sprinkling moment of history silently on a man's exploits. Laughing in my mind that he too, as a human being, devised a way to say because he wanted to become history himself, and renounce history, and even it is a human being in whom the quest for the insistence of saving each other opens the door to immense possibilities for everyone. And raising his voice against the events arising out of tampering with nature, and finds ways to protect it. And remembers the world of love. The world of love remembers. What is not just history, not an event, not a story, even the greatness that remains only worldly. What's not just history, not an event, just a story, not a story, even the greatness that remains only worldly, ever that. The gods to go to all the worlds and eliminate demonic powers and overwhelmed by seeing the victorious warriors in the form. Endless melodious song is descending in order to save the human being. Endless melodious song is descending in order to save the human being, not the man who is born of the same pastime, but the man who is the best decoration of the universe. All is due to this end of love. All is due to the end of love, because everything is connected. Different is also one in its core, have consciousness. So, consciousness. The same thing appears in philosophy. If everyone keeps their intelligence in their ego, then everything collapses on its own. All the fortifications are ensured in action and thought. Actions that are good and pure, and thoughts that are thoughtful. The same thing appears in philosophy. If everyone keeps their intelligence in their ego, then everything collapses on its own. All the fortifications are ensured in action and thought. Actions that are good and pure, and thoughts that are thoughtful. So both have to live together. Then there is no question, nor any confusion arises. Amidst so many mysteries, we are going to find our solution. Amidst so many mysteries, we are going to find our solution. Unaccounted for countless people are going on their own. It's also a little difficult to claim to be unmatched. Worried about recovering from doubtful night in this difficult time. It's also a little difficult to claim to be unmatched. Worried about recovering from doubtful night in this difficult time. Sleep is a little impossible. Now whose responsibility is on us? Many whose differences are left open. So many treasures that plundered are never ending. Now we express our ownership by being vigilant. Have been searching again while keeping power. That everything is happening as it happens and over which we have no control, but finding and saving our nature is original and pleasant. That everything is happening as it happens and over which we have no control, but finding and saving our nature is original and pleasant. Apart from this, we have no other option. Yes, the rules that have to be followed are our own, but what we have found and exceeded the limits of proof. Interesting to some extent, because that's also what it means for us to be. And so many love. Who was set to run their contract? What we have made to live the law, he gets the strength to walk with the help of arguments and wisdom. And so many love. Who was set to run their contract? What we have made to live the law, he gets the strength to walk with the help of arguments and wisdom, and in which the sentiment of life is lost and deceived. This is the root cause in the world of being. And in which the sentiment of life is lost and deceived. This is the root cause in the world of being, even the basic truth of getting away from love. And also the unbelievable truth of the failure of all the myths of indolence in a country full of stories of the oral tradition. And also the unbelievable truth of the failure of all the myths of indolence in a country full of stories of the oral tradition. The ultimate truth of not being able to break out all the armor in the darkness of centuries of deception in the eyes. All the scriptures say that all the things in the world are bitter in saying, and not to be spoiled by anything except saying in love. Love talks in dance and singing, whether told in pastimes or in rectangles or accidentally, whom we don't know. We ignore everything is the result of being and becoming. Everything is the result of being and becoming. Forgetting passions and prudence along with control is the danger for humans and should not be the same. Forgetting passions and prudence along with control is the danger for humans and should not be the same. Now, my question is wrong. Now, my question is wrong. That what's going on automatically has its own rules, struggling with the rules of living, flowing trees, growing trees, all this will go on going peacefully. Struggling with the rules of living, flowing trees, growing trees, all these will go on going peacefully. And silence has emerged as the melody of perfection. And every season is a beautiful event and supporting. And this is the biggest truth and most appropriate. It doesn't matter if we don't want, admit it, and keep doing all the work lovingly together. There is welfare. Don't get stuck somewhere in the state, not in any creed. As silence has emerged as the melody of perfection, and every season is beautiful, event and supporting, and this is the biggest and most appropriate. It doesn't matter if we don't want, admit it, and keep doing all the work lovingly together. There is welfare. Don't get stuck somewhere in the stake, not in any creed. Come on, all is well. Place to change. Now one color, one song, bright hope, unmatched melody, downing faith, wake, 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 sweet morning. Come on, all is well. Place to change. Now one color, one song, bright hope, unmatched melody, downing faith, wake, 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 sweet morning. Wake up constantly. Keep moving forward, keeping the tradition of saving everything. Keep moving forward, keeping the tradition of saving everything. The present poem I recited was composed on 5th of March 2020. I do not know if there is a ludicrous attempt at the positive sound of the soul of the poem, whether it is acceptable or not. It doesn't even know what should be in it, and its grammar is well known. No, a situation of great confusion arises in this time of ideological duality, and especially when there is moral turmoil. The poem should say all those things more than the discharge of language and religion. Dare to live with the hope of surviving man's humanity as well as his religion and entire creation on earth. I have said more than that. I apologize for this mischief.